Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. We are playing some more games, and this is a new deck we're going to bring to you that I found in the 5.0 deck lists for MTGO leagues. It's a pretty sweet list. It's based around a Ketra's Monument, of which there have been a few decks of that type. This one is using Force of Virtue, the sort of much maligned force, the White Force, which is a glorious anthem. So essentially the idea is kind of the same as the previous Ketra's Monuments decks. You play a lot of cheap white creatures. You can sort of, I suppose not go infinite, but you can repeatedly use white main line to bounce itself to keep triggering a Ketra's Monument. And you've got the usual sort of Soul Sisters package, Soul Warden plus Soul's Attendant to gain lots of life, keep you alive. And then we've got Squadron Hawk and Legion Conquistador, which search up for multiple copies of themselves, which gives you extra fodder to pitch to Force of Virtue. So eventually amassing a sort of huge army of white creatures to run over the opponent with. It's an interesting deck. It's be interesting to see how its power level matches up to other decks in Modern. It certainly doesn't seem the most powerful, but it does seem like a lot of fun. So I want to give this a go, and I'm going to do some live videos running a league with this deck because it seems like it should be good fun. So let's get down to it. Okay, so here we are with game 1 of our first league with the Monument Sisters deck, as it's been called on Reddit, so we'll go with that. We will choose to play first. This is our opening hand. It's kind of sketchy. I don't think it really does anything. We can put a bunch of Force of Virtues into play, but we don't really have anything to back that up with. I think this is a mulligan. This isn't a whole lot better, but I don't really know what else to do. I don't really want to mull to 5. I guess we'll keep this and put a Conquistador back. So, lead off with plains nothing. We haven't really got anything going on in the early turns, which isn't ideal, obviously. And I'm putting in Thought Seizers, which makes that situation slightly worse. Interesting to see what they take here. Depending on what kind of deck they are, I suppose. If they're some sort of like 8-rack deck, then they probably want to take the Conquistador, actually. If they're some sort of creature-based deck, they want to take the removal. Yeah, they're taking the Conquistador, which probably is the right choice. We don't really have a lot going on. White main line doesn't really do anything. It's more of a combo piece with the Monument. If we can get that going. Should probably put a stop on our upkeep for Hussar. There we go. We've got to play a Soul's Attendant. So that's nice. Opponent is apparently Mardu, potentially. Certainly seems that way, which is interesting. There's not really a whole lot of Mardu decks in the format. Mardu Pyromancer is kind of the most popular, and popular in inverted commas, I would say. Mardu deck in the format, to my knowledge. I suppose it could also be some sort of Lightning Skelemental style deck. So, Second Thought Seize takes White Main Lion, and our opponent is Faithless Looting. I suppose this is all in keeping with. There goes a Lightning Skelemental. We've got Path Up, so I suppose we need to watch out for Unearth on the Lightning Skelemental, but we do have Path Up, so it's good. A 1-drop would be nice. Land is okay. Guess we'll get a point of a damage in. He's playing Fiery Islet as well. We seem to have a slightly bizarre mana base, it would seem. Yeah, not a lot going on. I mean, I didn't love our opening hand, but certainly having Thoughtseize take it apart was not ideal. But yeah, not really sure what our opponent's doing at the minute. Certainly something that's slightly interesting. I mean, we did call a Lightning Skelemental. But presumably if they were trying to unearth it, they would have taken our path earlier. Unless they just got more discard in hand. Thunderkin Awakener. Okay. Yeah, I guess that just gets passed. So when it attacks, it gets to I forget which side we're on, but yeah. So yeah, this deck's kind of been doing some rounds. It's sort of a Lightning Skelemental Ball Lightning based aggro deck with Thunderkin Awakener, which is new from the core set, which can basically reanimate these Skelementals and Ball Lightning cards. I guess we might as well fetch. I guess that was a Hallowed Fountain. Be nice if we could start forecasting this, so a creature would be good. Soul Warden is not bad. I'm not terribly excited about our spot at the moment. Opponent might kill our Soul's Attendant to prevent us from forecasting the Hussar. Yeah. Fine. What we really want is to find Squadron Hawk, I guess. Kind of weird that might be our best draw. But just restocking our hand would be pretty nice. And I suppose generally that's kind of good against Skelemental style beats. So here comes Skelemental. And there goes our Hussar. I'll take 6 down to 15. I suppose our deck is kind of good against this this kind of beatdown, because the incidental life gain we're getting off the Soul Sisters means that we're not too harmed by it. And they've got a slightly awkward mana base as well, particularly if they're running Ball Lightning, which I don't know whether they are or not, but they're down to 9. Got Soul's Attendant, which will trigger another life gain for us. I suppose Lightning Skelemental less scary once we've got no cards in hand anyway. So yeah, we've got them down to 8 without really doing a whole lot. Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. Potentially we gain a lot of life. But it does mean that we can't beat out our opponent anymore. It's frustrating triggers. Yes. Do always want to gain life off the Attendant. See what our opponent discards here will be quite interesting. Bolt and another Seasoned Pyromancer. So I get the full 2 tokens. I have to remove auto yields just to turn on the auto yields again. Yes. Always yes, always yield. Always yield. Okay. Catcher's Monument, that's not bad. So he doesn't have any immediate impact on the board, but like I say, if we can draw a Squadron Hawk or something, that would be pretty nice here. And he's certainly got the ability to gain a lot of life. I mean, we've gone all the way back to 22, which is pretty effective against lightning skelemental type beats. I think an Awakener is kind of a problem. Because hitting them repeatedly get at us is going to be problematic. I don't know if we just want to double block it. I mean, that potentially leads us into a removal spell that hurts pretty badly, but we can't really afford to take 6 every turn. I'll try and double block. Won't live to regret it. No, that seemed to pay off. That's good to see. Don't have any cards to discard. Just really hoping for a Squadron Hawk off the top. Arcanist. Yeah, that could be problematic. Certainly not having a removal might be difficult for us. So they can get back Bolt, Fatal Push, or Faceless Looting, Fort Seas. All pretty good. I suppose we can turn off this upkeep step. Okay, Path is nice. I guess we just do that now. No, I suppose we'll wait until it's... We'll do it on before their combat so they don't get advantage of the mana. But yeah, I think we need to get rid of this Arcanist. It's going to be problematic. Draws a card off the Sunbaked Canyon. Doesn't have access to white mana now, which I suppose they haven't used, so I don't really understand. Maybe they're just using the Sunbaked Canyon as a draw, purely as a draw. So we can get rid of Arcanist. It should be helpful for us. Taking 4, which is fine for now. So we just need a Squadron Hawk or something. White main line would be fine. There's another Arcanist. That's problematic. Yeah, Flooded Strand is not going to do very much for us. We haven't drawn overly well in this situation when you consider what our opponent's done. And they've only actually used 1 Faithless Looting to draw any cards. I'm just desperate for a Squadron Hawk or something. Something useful. So I assume they're just going to kill this Soul's Attendant, although I suppose alternatively they could just bolt us. Yep. Puts us a long way back. Going to be pretty tricky from here, I think. I guess we'll get Hallowed Fountain because we don't want to draw Hallowed Fountain. Second the Catcher's Monument, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Guess we're not just dead just yet. Oh, it's legendary. Did not know that. I thought you could double up on them, so okay, that's legendary. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with the flashback on the bolt, and yep, that kills us, unfortunately. So what are we going to bring in? I guess Rest in Peace. Doesn't seem insane, but it's a way of slowing them down. And they've got a lot of graveyard shenanigans just generally. Thalia is good, is it? Thalia seems decent. Actually, Thalia's really good, actually. It can block. Well, it can block and kill a lightning element. I suppose they'd still trample over for damage, so maybe it's not that good. But I think we want Path, I think we want Thalia, I think we want Rest in Peace. I can't really see us wanting anything else. I suppose getting 5 life is fine. Elixir seems like a bizarre one, I'm not really sure what that's there for. In terms of cards to cut, not really sure. I haven't really got enough reps with this deck to know what's the most expendable cards. I guess the Hussar it hasn't really been that impressive so far. Maybe keep one of those. Maybe cut a Ketra. I mean, it's decent, but it's not insane. And really Loxodon doesn't do a whole lot, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose we want our value cards, things like Ranger. I suppose Hussar kind of counts as a value card, so maybe that should be staying in. White Mane Lion is fine, but it's not insane. Cut the Lion. I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how we should be going about this. It feels like Hussar might be good in the way of drawing cards, but it certainly seemed a bit slow last game. We'll go with this and see how we get on. Yes, I would like to play first. I mean, this certainly seems like a better hand than last game, so we'll go with this. I suppose Rest in Peace and Thalia is a bit of a nombo, but we can Soul's Attendant into Rest in Peace, into Thalia or Conquistador, I guess. And at least we're on the play, so a bit more speed. Last game was a particularly bad hand, I think we started off with, and only really got worse from there. There's a chance our opponent Thought ceases the Rest in Peace, so let's hope that doesn't happen. Do you want to crack a fetch at this point? So we haven't brought any blue cards in. So I suppose a Sky Hussar that we might want to cast off a blue potentially at some point, but that seems unlikely. I'll just leave with the basic, but particularly as we want to draw lands, I guess, at this point. Does the opponent have the turn 1 Thoughtseize? Inquisition. I suppose that's a similar effect. I assume they'll want to get rid of the Rest in Peace. We shall see. I suppose they might want to get rid of the Path, depending on how their hand is shaping up. Certainly the Rest in Peace is a long-term problem. Maybe they're weighing that up. Yep, so that goes Rest in Peace. There's Force of Virtue. So that'd be nice if we get the Legion Conquistador, if we get another land to cast the Legion with. We just face a basic up. I don't think a blue mana is going to come up very often here. So let's yield to the Soul's Attendant. Again for 1. Pass the turn. So yeah, we're away from Lightning Skelemental mana, so I don't think we need to keep a path at this moment in time. Our opponent's got nothing. Okay, that's pretty good for us. Land would be nice. Squadron Hawk is also fairly good. Guess we'll just play this before combat. Make sure our Soul's Attendant lives, or they kill the Soul's Attendant first. Although it's unlikely they're going to have anything, given they've only got 1 mana and we've got Thalia in play. So I suppose that was another option of on their Inquisition. Maybe they did want to get rid of Thalia. Actually, Squadron Hawk's really nice because we can force next turn with us using a Hawk. And I think we'll be pretty far ahead. Obviously our opponent stumbled, and that's going to help us out a lot. Also Thalia's doing a bit of work in general. Oh, actually we can't force because we'd have to pay an extra mana. That's kind of annoying, but our opponent's conceded anyway, and yeah, I guess next turn we'd have to force, but that worked out fairly nicely for us. Do you think we cut Monument? So Monument seems to be like a long-term value card for us, which is more helpful than some of the other options. Yeah, let's just stick with that, I guess. I guess this hand is fine. Certainly deck feels a little underpowered at the moment. Because our opponent's not really doing anything insane, it's more just like value cards. But a hand disruption really hurts us. And we just don't really have that sort of engine in the deck to make it work really well. There's a Ranger Eos, which might be nice later on, if we get to later on. So as next turn we can hold up Path with Soul Ward and play Soul Warden, which isn't a bad situation to be in. Okay, nothing from our opponent this turn, which I guess is beneficial to us. I guess we'll play this Flooded Strand out. And I guess we attack. I don't think we're going to likely to flash a creature into play. Okay, so down to 14. We're certainly a long way away from winning this game. It's a Ball Lightning, that seems really fine. I suppose it's the Thunderkin Awakener follow-up that might prove problematic. If indeed there is a Thunderkin Awakener follow-up. So our opponent knows about our path, so I guess we will fetch up a Hallowed Fountain, given the opportunity. End of turn. Ball Lightning goes to the bin. We're still on 15, so we're not too bad shape. Another land is not really what we were looking for. But I guess we're getting to thin our deck a little bit with all these fetch lands. guess looting is a good start. Well, it's better than getting lightning skelemental, I think, at this stage. Pitching 2 lands is interesting. We should potentially have Ranger next turn, but we'll see. I'm just cracking this in the canyon. Okay, so it looks like our opponent's a little bit stuck on things to do, which is definitely to our benefit. So we can cast Ranger next turn, which gets us 2 cards, and then even if we get Lightning Skelemental, then I suppose we haven't really lost out, or at least break even. I guess we'll fetch up another Hallowed Fountain, because we never want to draw them, and have to pay 2 life for them to come into play untapped. So I guess the question is, what's the worst thing that could happen from us rangering here? But I guess we'll keep thinning our deck. I think we just cast Ranger here. I'm happy to discard a couple of lands to a Lightning Skelemental if that's what happens. And that feels like the worst thing that could happen to us. At the minute, I suppose Thunderkin Awakener, get back Ball Lightning, but we can fetch a bunch of Soul Sisters with this. I don't know if there should be a better package for the Ranger of Eos, like Sarah's Ascendant isn't in this deck, which seems kind of interesting. I guess we'll pick up Soul's Attendant just in case opponent's playing Legion's End or something, which might punish us for having a one-way split, although Soul's Warden is a lot less irritating to deal with generally, because it's not a May ability. So I guess we'll attack here. I mean, I suppose we're in decent shape here. Feels like we're not particularly close to winning the game, but my opponent's not really done a whole lot. Seems like they've been digging and not getting very far. And if we don't get punched this turn, then we're going to have a load of Soul Sisters in play. No idea if they play Anger of the Gods or anything that we should be trying to play around. Season Pyromancer seems fine for now. It also gains us a bunch of life. I suppose they need to play it now rather than later, because we'll be gaining a kind of silly amount of life. So Braid and a land goes into the bin and it makes 1 elemental. Which is interesting. So I guess we can just swing in with Ranger. I probably wouldn't have done into two elementals, but it doesn't seem like there's a good reason not to in this situation. So I guess we play Chefnet Dunes. Then we can double Soul's Attendant after a Ketra, and then we get a bunch of tokens, and then potentially we can Chefnet Dunes for the win next turn. This has certainly turned around quite radically. Let's yield to that. Gain life. Put Soul's Attendant into play, gain another life. Another Soul's Attendant. Always yes. And swing for 3. Takes the trade, that's fine. I mean, I suppose we could have kept it back for Chefnet Dunes to make it less of a favourable block, but I don't know. Seems like we're in a good position unless our opponent somehow it has a board wipe. Dreadhorde Arcanist and Thunder Awakener goes into the bin. That's quite interesting. So what have they got in hand? Unless they've got another Thunderkin Awakener. Braid destroys the monument. That's fine. So we can attack for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can attack for 10, our opponent can block 2 of it. So we can put our opponent into 1 here. If we path the elemental. Or we can just not path the elemental, which probably is just the better play. And keep our paths back for something more significant, but I still think we Chefnet Dunes here, with our opponent with nothing really going on. Yes, who do you want to sacrifice it to its own ability? Shame this isn't lethal, but close enough. So yeah, this isn't really how I expected this game to go, to be honest, but seems like we're in a very good position. Again, board wipe would be problematic, but it's not what we've seen so far. Opponent has a Seasoned Pyromancer, which, well, we'll see if how many tokens it can make, but it doesn't seem likely that our opponent is going to be able to make it past our 2 Path to Exiles. We've got an insane number of life gain. Oh, this is so irritating. I think you can auto stack those, can't you? I need to figure out what the button is. Okay, so opponent's on 3, we can get rid of all but 1 of their creatures. So let's path. And that'll do it. Okay, so we managed to pick up the win. As I say, I didn't really expect it to go this way, but yeah, our opponent seemed to just kind of stall out, and we got our Soul Sisters together. And the game kind of came together. I'm still not sure how I feel about this deck. It is a little bit underpowered. It feels sometimes things don't really come together quite well, but we did manage to get there this time. I don't know if we just need some more powerful cards in it. Feels like the Ranger of Eos package could be better. I don't know about Serra's Ascendant. Maybe we just don't get to that much life all that often, but seems like there should be some slightly better payoffs maybe, but I don't know. I will continue playing and see how we get on, but this was our first game of the league, and we managed to pick up a win, so good start for the deck.